Hi, this is Lanier with Century 21. I've mentioned before, but 34% of transactions in the month of May, an investor was on the buyer side around Metro Atlanta. That's a staggering number. 1 in 3 homes sold in the metro area went to an investor. Other major cities sit in the 10% range for things like that. Investors have really targeted Atlanta over the last couple years. Today, let's talk about why. Why are all these investors choosing to spend their money in the Atlanta metro area? Many of them are foreign, many of them don't live anywhere close to here. They could spend it anywhere they want to, but they've chosen Atlanta. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, Atlanta is still really affordable compared to most other major cities. Most other major metropolitan areas are 50% to 100% more expensive than real estate in Atlanta. There's really just no comparison. So when investors see, hey, I can buy a $300,000 house around Atlanta, or I could buy a comparable house for 600 grand in the Bay Area or 800 grand in LA or New York, they're gonna go with Atlanta. They're gonna spend that money and they'll buy two. The other reason that they're really targeting Atlanta is because there's so much demand here and they really don't think it's going to go anywhere anytime soon. People are moving to Atlanta from these other major metropolitan areas. Again, for affordability, for jobs, all these different factors that make Atlanta such a hot market, investors see that too. And investors want to spend their money where they think they're going to get good return for a long time. The other factor that contributes is rental rates in Atlanta continue to really outpace what these buyers are having to pay for homes. They're seeing the return on investment numbers around Atlanta make a whole lot of sense from an investor perspective. So what does this mean for Metro Atlanta real estate moving forward? What does it mean for the average home buyer in Metro Atlanta? Well, it means competition is going to stay tough for the foreseeable future in Atlanta. And even if you start to hear about things fading in other markets, that doesn't mean it's going to happen to Atlanta. When 1 out of 3 homes, and in certain areas even more than that, are being bought by investors, that means that home buyer demand's really not, being quenched by the homes on the market. Because 1 in 3 of them is not even going to a real person that wants to move into the house. It creates a really, really competitive marketplace. The other thing that it means for Metro Atlanta is that it's going to keep prices pretty stable. Even if they start to drop in other parts of the country, Atlanta is going to stay stable because price is just a function of supply and demand. And when a third of the supply is being eaten up without doing anything to help with demand, that causes a problem. That causes high pricing. Now, the other thing I want to focus on is where these investors are targeting around Atlanta. You're going to see in this map over here, the metro area as a whole, and you see a lot of different pockets. And what I want to focus on is the west side and the south side is where you can really see just those heat maps lighten up red. That's where investors have gotten incredibly aggressive because property values are lower in those areas. And so they can buy really, really inexpensive houses close to the perimeter and then fix them up a little bit and jack that price up, or charge really high rent once they fix them up a little bit. The other area I want to focus on is the part of town that I live in, which is Gwinnett County and the east suburbs. In that area, you see there are even some pockets there where 40, 50, 60% of transactions, the investor was on the purchaser side. Again, when it's a third of the homes being purchased, that really doesn't help with buyer demand. You focus on some of these areas where 50+% of transactions, the investors on the purchaser side, that creates a big problem. And I've seen it when I show houses around the Lilburn area, especially down towards Stone Mountain. You see that really red hot area down there. It seems like every house is an open door or an investor property. Very few, it feels like, are being sold by an actual family with another actual family moving in. So the investor thing is, I don't want to call it a problem in Atlanta, but it really is a standout factor in the Atlanta market, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon.